What is up, guys? It's Yo here. We're back today with another review. This time it's of the Fresh and Fit podcast, and we're asking the uncomfortable question of what is it women bring to the table? What is it people bring to the table in general? Is there anything tangible they bring to the table, or is it all just self-centered, irrelevant things? About to find out. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Just not waste any more time. Let's get to the good stuff.
DVO, Maxo, short-term bang, the attractive guy, and long-term marry, the rich guy. But what do you bring to the table?
That's a very good one. Very good one.
We want to go around the table with that one.
So, okay, I'll add a caveat to that as well,
sure,
right?
go
So,
ahead.
for example, what do you bring to the table outside of sex?
Say again?
Okay, what do you bring to the table?
You spoke Chinese, sort
Foreign question. Okay, Miss Mexico.
Yes.
What do you bring to the table to a man, right? That you're taking serious.
Yeah.
Outside of sex.
What do you think she will bring
No,
besides sex?
I'm going on the panel.
Have you ever been in a relationship that you obviously have sex, but what does she bring to the table besides that? Tell me.
Well, I'm asking you the question.
How it works.
I have an answer, but I would like to know yours.
Okay, well, let's go on the panel first, and then we'll get back to your question.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm definitely supportive. I'm definitely ambitious, and I like to be a part of your idea. So I can say comprehensive. Yeah, I got my emotions sometimes, and I want to say my opinion. But and overall, like I have really good intentions. I want to see you grow, because if you grow, I grow. Obviously, good sex, great communication, and I'm definitely adventurous. So I'm super down. I'm open-minded. I'm down. So I'm fun, and that's what I bring to the table.
Okay, but we mentioned no sex.
Okay, no sex. Besides no sex, okay. Yeah, I'm supportive. I'm ambitious. I'm adventurous. I'm definitely open-minded. To a lot of things. So, yeah, I'm a good time. I'm a good time.
All right.
Very interesting how she couldn't mention that, even though he specifically said not that. And another thing I wanted to mention is that, just run it back, it's that hand business she was doing while she was talking.
Say
Very
comprehensive.
interesting.
Yeah, I got my emotions sometimes, and I want to say my opinion. But and overall, like I have really good intentions. I want to see you grow, because if you grow, I grow. Obviously, good sex, great communication, and I'm
That hand snapping thing she's doing with her hands, the whole in and out, that they're doing on, the same woman was doing on one of Kevin's podcasts. I find that very unattractive in women. It's very attitude, sass based. I don't like that. And it's very interesting because a lot of the people that were on the show, I think like when I watched it live, was talking about how she looks good, she's a bad bee. The truth of the matter is, that's irrelevant. I mean, don't get me wrong, she looks decent, but for me, personality and attitude is everything in a woman. And so for her to be doing that, it's very interesting. A lot of the times, women, understandably, especially black women, complain about having these issues of guys not liking them and feeling inferior to, say, Caucasians or other races of women, because they just feel they don't get a good chance. And it's very interesting because women, like, they say that it's because people, especially black men, say that they have an attitude problem and that they come off as masculine, aggressive, all this other stuff. But to me, this woman's coming off to me as masculine and aggressive, and I find it very unattractive. And I find it interesting that a lot of the time, specifically black men, will say that this woman's attractive, even though realistically she has a lot of masculine and sass-based energy, and it's not very nice. And the thing about it is, men don't realize a lot of the time that they have this unconscious bias towards other races. And don't get me wrong, I understand it. The unconscious bias is a lot of the time as a result of a biological hardwiring to not procreate with people of your own family, i.e. incest, and not have these kind of issues where you're having inner familial procreation, which can lead to all kinds of diseases and everything else. This is only in countries where you're an ethnic minority. Obviously, if you're in Africa, where there are obviously millions of people there, and that's not much of an issue. But when you're an ethnic minority and biologically you could potentially be procreating with people that are of your own family, then this becomes an issue. So it's like a biological hardwire not to be attracted to your own race, because you find this in a lot of races, actually, especially with, let's say, Asians, it is mostly Asians, but even just generally, you get a lot of people that say they don't date people that are of their same race. And the reason is because they have this, in the West specifically, they have this hardwiring not to be attracted to people that look like you, so that you know that you're not procreating with your family. But it's uncalled for in these kind of situations where you see women like this that are just being and displaying a bad attitude, and they're not being held accountable for it. And so to like someone purely based on their looks and not taking into account the whole person is unfair. And so for me, this woman is very unattractive. But that's just me. Let's get back into it.
Definitely adventurous. So I'm super down. I'm open-minded. I'm down. So I'm fun. And that's what I bring to the table.
Okay, but we mentioned no sex.
Okay, no sex. Besides no sex, okay. Yeah, I'm supportive, I'm ambitious, I'm adventurous, I'm definitely open-minded, you know, to a lot of things. So yeah, I'm a good time. I'm a good time.
My answer is I don't know. I don't know what I would bring to the table. This is me. You like it? You don't? You know? Let's find out. Let's figure it out together.
Okay, I mean, you're keeping it real. I like that. You're at least being honest.
Wait, you said you have a boyfriend though, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, what do you do for him then?
Oh, a lot of things. Do you want to know?
I mean, we literally just asked you that.
Do you want to ask him?
Yeah. I'm asking you. I mean, you said I'm not sure what I bring to the table, and then I'm like, wait, aren't you in a relationship?
Honestly, when I'm in a relationship, I'm not like, what am I bringing to the table? Is he happy if I do this? I don't question myself all the time. I'm like, this is who I am. Maybe today.
But you know something interesting?
Yes.
When you were asked what you're looking for long term, you had a laundry list of stuff you meant.
Exactly. And this is the bottom line. Women want to think about and emphasize what it is that they want in a man, but they do not give a damn about what it is that a man might want from them, what a man should want from them, what a man will want from them. And this is the issue with modern day dating. It's that men have so many requirements for their standards of what they need to bring to a relationship, but women virtually have none apart from themselves. So there's this disparity between what a woman needs to bring to the table and what a man needs to bring to the table. So men are saying, well, if I have all these expectations and she has nothing, then why should I even deal with her in the first place?
You mentioned, but then when you're asked,
I just said fun, good sex, and somebody who
don't get me wrong, she just seems annoying in general.
Would like change with me, and we both like grow together.
Okay, so let's say you brought 4 things, but then when you were asked, what do you bring to that person? Then you're like, I don't know. Do you understand how there's like a confusion there?
It's not confusing for me. I don't know if there's somebody else that's not as confused as you.
All right, I'm the confused one. I'll take that.
All right.
There you have it. Solipsism 101, guys. Solipsism 101.
So I think I bring a lot to the table. I'm super motivative. Like, you just want to be my man. You need the support.
You just want to be my man. You know, you need the support. I'm there. You know, I'm just the stuff. You know, I'm online and I'm going on my spiritual journey. If only these women knew how they came across to men. Just look at Abba's face right now. That is exactly how a man feels when they say stuff like this. That is exactly how a man feels.
Support system, and I'm all about my man. I support him, I encourage him, I motivate him, I push him, I'm there for him, I love him. I'm all about him as long as he's all about me.
Okay, so you cater to your man then?
Yeah.
All right.
Does that include if he wants to have sex with other girls though?
Absolutely not. You already know that.
Then in that case, she does not support you, my gentleman.
Stop it. We're not going there.
In that case, she does not support you. Okay.
Well, for me, it's a best friend. I bring in perspective. I teach them. Also with my current boyfriend, for example, I'm teaching in Spanish. But definitely a best friend, somebody that you can rely on, that you can talk to, that you can play with, that you can just feel like yourself with no armory. You can just relax and be yourself without the stress that goes on in the world.
So no judgment.
Be myself.
No judgment.
Does he like?
There's
does
a
he
type
talk
of
about
unconditional love.
Does he? Wait, you said unconditional love?
There's a type of unconditional love because when it comes to friendship, when you have a friendship with someone, you love them for who they are, flaws and all.
So you're telling me that your relationship is unconditional love?
As of now, yeah, I would say so.
Okay. All right, excellent. All right. I believe that that's a fallacy. All love is conditional, especially on the female side, but that's okay.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is the problem with discussing with modern women, is that there's so much virtue signaling and diplomatic speech that goes on. that is just disingenuous. And the thing is, it's not even like, the reason why it's an issue is because it then becomes a thing of, you can't even negotiate what a real relationship should be like for a woman. And if you can't negotiate what it should be like, then it just leads to tyranny, where one party thinks everything is about them, another party thinks everything is about them, and then, of course, inevitably, relationships aren't going to last long because it's just selfish-based relations, and nobody's thinking about compromise and what it is to really endure and survive. Everything is fast culture. On to the next one. If he's not serving me, then I'm going to go. If she's not serving me, then I'm just going to dip. This is why modern day dating is just such a mess.
Yeah, that's
well, if you're saying definitely out of your experiences, then you're telling your life, definitely, because there exists unconditional love. I agree with her. You have unconditional love from your mother, you have unconditional love from a brother.
Yes.
And it does exist. And if you haven't experienced it, then you would say it doesn't.
That's family.
I would ask you, if you're married to somebody, hypothetical, right? 10 years from now, you're married to somebody, you have 3 kids. He stops working, he stops fucking you, stops talking to you, stops basically being involved with you. I think you would still love this man if you kept that up?
I would still love them, but I would definitely have to love myself more in order to leave and let them figure out their life. Because a lot of times women want men to change, but people don't realize that you can't make people change. People have to go through their own process. And sometimes that process requires them to hit rock bottom. So if that person needs to go through their journey and you not being there is part of that, and you do it out of love, then that is necessary. And when that person is able to change and go back to you, you truly love them, you would take them back because you know who you fell in love with. You know who that person is. And everybody has downs. Everybody goes through depression. Everybody has bad moments,
Yeah. All right, let me translate that womanese for you guys. Basically what she's saying is, as long as you continue to be who you were when I first met you, then I will be there.
I don't think she said that. No, I did not say that. That is mansplaining, and you're changing my words.
Yeah, well, and basically...
Mansplaining. All these buzzwords that the modern women have come up with in order to try and avoid accountability and defend their deceptive language and diplomatic speech. Very interesting.
Basically, what I am saying is that I'm just translating because you said a lot there without really saying much. But what really...
I heard a lot. I don't know about you. But
that's not unconditional love.
That's not unconditional love, though.
What is unconditional love for you?
It means when you love somebody...
No, for you, Mr. FreshFit.
No. It's very simple. There's no such thing as unconditional love. There's conditions.
A woman, Ginger, whatever she is on the right, is with her boobs hanging out. She's very obnoxious and very rude. I'm glad she got removed from the show. She was incredibly annoying.
It's everything in the world. And the reason why I had to say something was because men, don't listen to that advice ever. Because women will say that to you. Oh, unconditional love, and I'm going to love you, whatever.
As long as you make somebody outside from yourself responsible, it's going to be a conditional love.
You let me finish? Okay. So what I was saying is that love is always conditional to some degree. As a man, you have to bring something to the table for a woman to love you. Now, I get what you guys are saying, the Disney fairy tale, but that's not how the world works.
I think that's what you've learned in life.
Seriously, can you stop cutting me?
No. Something. Duh.
So I always wanted to transition from working in an office into doing something a little bit.
But people don't realize that you can't make people change. People have to go through their own process. And sometimes that process requires them to hit rock bottom. So if that person needs to go through their journey and you not being there is part of that, and you do it out of love, then that is necessary. And when that person is able to change and go back to you, you truly love them, you would take them back because you know who you fell in love with. You know who that person is. And everybody has downs. Everybody goes through depression. Everybody has bad moments,
Yeah.
All right, let me translate that womanese for you guys. Basically what she's saying is, as long as you continue to be who you were when I first met you, then I will be there.
I don't think she said that.
No, I did not say that. That is mansplaining, and you're changing my words.
Yeah, well, and basically what I am saying is that I'm just translating because you said a lot there without really saying much. But what really...
I heard a lot. I don't know about you.
But that's not unconditional love.
That's not unconditional love, though.
What is unconditional love for you?
It means when you love somebody...
No, for you, Mr. FreshFit.
No. It's very simple. There's no such thing as unconditional love. There's conditions to everything in the world. And the reason why I had to say something was because men, don't listen to that advice ever. Because women will say that to you. Oh, unconditional love, and I'm going to love you, whatever.
As long as you make somebody outside from yourself responsible, it's going to be a conditional love.
You let me finish? Okay. So what I was saying is that love is always conditional to some degree. As a man, you have to bring something to the table for a woman to love you. Now, I get what you guys are saying, the Disney fairy tale, but that's not how the world works.
I think that's what you've learned in life.
Seriously, can you stop cutting me off?
Do you feel like I'm cutting you off?
Yeah,
I think this was like a conversation, not a monologue.
No. Did you not ask a question?
I'm sorry?
Did you not ask me a question?
Yeah, I was asking you what is unconditional love.
And then you cut me off twice. I counted it.
Are you mad?
Hey, listen.
Not at all.
Because I'm under the impression that you just got like super mad.
No. It's rude to cut people off.
No,
I was trying to just.
Hey, pause. Listen, end of the day, I told you before the show, right? It's a podcast. Don't cut Marin off. I explicitly said this over and over again. Yes, it's me. I'm the producer, okay? Do not cut Marin off. It's bad radio.
I feel sorry for whoever it is she's dating, because she is a headache. Just a walking, talking headache, and she's incredibly annoying and insufferable. For her to cut off Myron as often as she did, so casually, in such an entitled manner, just speaks volumes about her own personality.
Now, you get one final warning. If not, we have 3 ladies on the couch.
Oh, I don't mind leaving this show if I'm not allowed to talk.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
You gotta respect the platform and not cut people off.
Thank you.
I'm myself.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
You can take yourself outside.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you. Trey, can you thank you, Trey.
All right.
Okay, so one down.
One down.
Okay.
No, you're not gonna use
So, you know what? I thought this was going to be a great show.
We just have to.
But there you go. We can let him handle that.
I think it's just
So Fresh, go ahead, Fresh.
think that one holds the truth. So let's just keep an open mind, you know, listen to each other and be willing to also change our own perspectives, because that's what actually makes a good dialogue. So let's keep it on that note.
I do agree with you, but you did say that there is unconditional love, but then you said something else that said there isn't, because you said if he wasn't loving you how you wanted to love you, you would go away.
No.
Out of love, but it would be out of love. Because let me know if I paraphrase. I want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, sure.
Essentially, for you, if you love somebody, sometimes you have to leave them because it's the compassionate thing to do, so that they can figure themselves out. And you're doing that out of love. Is that correct?
When you try to change someone, it puts on more stress for them, the feeling of having to change because you are disappointing your loved one. So sometimes people have to take their own journeys. And for that, sometimes you have to leave out of love for them to figure themselves out. And that is okay. It's completely normal. It's just like when you leave your house, your mom, because you got mad at her, and then you go and you figure yourself out, and then you come back. And that's an explanation, a hypothetical of a teenager that has to go back to the house. But if you're talking about someone that you're married to, as you said in your example, you have 3 kids with them and blah, 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 then definitely, if you want to raise your kids in a good way and your person is not in a good mental space and they need to figure themselves out, then definitely you need to let them go and wait for them in case they want to change, because it's a personal choice. You can't change people.
Okay. But hold on. No. Right? If you are a mother and your son does something crazy, you still love him.
Of
if your
course.
husband,
isn't that unconditional love?
Yeah, that's a mother and son. But if your husband cheats on you, does a bunch of crap to you, are you gonna love him and take him back? Probably not. So that's not unconditional love.
Fresh can't stand the womanese. It's like none of the guys on the panel can stand the womanese. And this is the issue of speaking with women, specifically and namely modern women, is that there's so much virtue signaling when they speak, that speaking to them authentically and having any genuine discussion is so difficult and practically pointless, because you're never going to get through to the actual feelings, because a woman's prerogative is on making other people feel comfortable around her, not on telling the truth necessarily. And so it's tough to get them to say how they really feel a lot of the time.
It does exist though. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. You're aware of it, right?
Yeah, I'm aware.
She took him back.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, okay. Okay, ladies.
She has a kid with him. She has a kid with him, right?
You want to handle this? You know what? Listen, there's some women who understand that there's things that matter more in life than whether or not your man is loyal. Some people believe in legacy. Some people build an empire. She knows that if she probably left the man, everything that they've been striving for together would probably just not work out, and they'd have to do things apart. So sometimes you sacrifice. That's not necessarily an indication of unconditional love. Yeah, it just means like, you know what? I'm gonna tolerate this because I believe that the thing that we're working for is more important. And I would also say this. I'm not mad at you. You have your ideas. You have your perception of love or whatever it is.
To be mad.
But I would also say, as you get older in life, you start to realize that there are conditions and there are asterisks. Whether it's marriage, whether it's love, it's like if you don't hold up your end of the bargain and it goes on.
I love how it is that these women always love to use the most obscure a minuscule of examples, celebrities who have lives nothing like theirs, lives are nothing similar to theirs in any way. Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. What business does Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce have to do with the kind of relationship that she's going to have? But that's what they admire. That's what they see on the media. So they think it's okay to make that comparison. No. Jay-Z and Beyonce have nothing to do with you. They have nothing to do with the average relationship in general.
Goes on long enough, I got to go do this. And you can say, oh, I still love you and I'm doing this so it can help you change because you need to realize rock bottom. But from the man's perspective, it's like, you're bailing because I'm not doing what you need me to do and you don't love me unconditionally. It was based off of whether or not I met those needs.
I think that's just one perspective.
Sure.
Definitely there's many perspectives to that. If you talk about marriage, then you have vows. And if you break those vows, then it's kind of like breaking love. But
so if you're watching, leave a comment and make sure you like the video. And yeah, love to know what you've got to say on the things, what you've got to say on the topic, how you feel. We need to have these discussions because they're very important.
When you have those vows and you say till love do us part, sickness and death and whatever, what you're saying is you're staying with that person even though you know there will be disagreements and mistakes. And the thing is, you are promising to work it out. When you cannot work it out, that's when you get a divorce, right? You're breaking your vows. You're basically falling on your own ways because you...
When you cannot work it out, that's when you get a divorce. The contract is till death do you part. What part of that is not understood?
You are deciding to do so. It does not mean that you one day from another decide, I'm not going to love that person anymore. We are all humans, you know? People still love, even though they understand that they have to leave each other for the greater good, because you don't want to raise a kid with two parents that are constantly fighting or that simply cannot get along anymore because of the different perspectives and views. Okay. But when you get married, that's what you're promising to do. You're promising to figure it out together.
That sounds great, but women initiate over 80% of the divorces, but you know, it is what it is, right?
So look, I want to say something here. It is not a debate about women against men. I think that's something that I feel it in the table. Like, here's
the thing though. Your feelings are irrelevant to fact.
But I'm not talking about feelings. Mostly I'm talking about the fact that we are all humans and humans have feelings, and you are mostly an emotional being.
See this? You're mostly an emotional being. Women cannot see outside of their own sphere of living, out of their own sphere of understanding. And this is what is so difficult for modern dating, because modern day dating and feminism in general has tried to teach men, women, and society at large that men and women are exactly the same. So when you kind of convince people that men, both genders are exactly the same, and you have these kind of discussions, you learn that we do not live lives the same at all. And the reality of and the facts of the matter come into play. And this is when it becomes difficult, because you see how different it is people view the world. And so you can't have these dialogues under the assumption that both genders are the same at all.
More that you want to think that you are a logical being, you're a highly emotional being. Okay. And you might want to deny that. But the truth is, you just had an altercation with somebody else, told them to leave out of emotion.
No, out of principle and fact. She cut me off twice, and then we said, hey, one more time, and then she did it again. And after we warned her, so
yeah, and when she left, you can take yourself home, and that's an emotional reaction.
No, listen, it's a fact reaction. She can leave, physically get up and leave. Because
I'm talking about the afterward.
Don't cut me off. Once again, see, I told her the rules. The producer, I told you many times. See, talking about girls have hearing and they don't pay attention, right? I told her before the show, if you talk over Myron, the rules is you will get booted out. And what happened? She didn't follow the rules. It wasn't emotional. We warned her. I told her to leave.
And she asked me the question too, which is funny.
Yeah.
Like, so she literally asked me to define unconditional love or conditional.
There we go. The disrespect and the bad behavior was punished. That's all for today's review. If you appreciate the content, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. tell us how you feel. Until next time, stay blessed and take care of yourself.